Hi guys, it is Aoife from Fred Weasley Died Laughing, and I'm here to do another monthly recommendations. So monthly recommendations is a Goodreads group created by Trina over Between Chapters and Kayla at Kayla Rayne, where just every month we recommend a series of books with a selected topic. And this month it's all about survival stories. And at first I was like, I don't really know if I have a lot of survival stories outside of like the ones that everyone knows about, like Hunger Games and The Martian and all those kind of ones. And then I had a bit of a dig down and I realised I do have a few ones, so I'm going to show them to you today. So the first one is, I don't have a physical copy because a friend of mine is actually borrowing it at the moment, and it is The First Days by Rayne Frater. This is a zombie apocalypse series, or it's more of a trilogy, and it has a few novellas out as well. And it is basically about two girls who meet up in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, and they basically have to try and survive the zombie apocalypse and try and find somewhere to be safe. And while it's not like the best writing in the world, the story is just really, really exciting, and it's really like there's a lot of action in it, and I just really, really enjoyed it. It's just one of those series that I really, really love, and yeah, I definitely recommend people to try it if they're looking for some zombie apocalypse survival stories. And then another zombie one I have is Married with Zombies by Jessie Peterson, holding upside down. This is actually the second book, Flip This Zombie, as I don't have Married with Zombies in physical form, which is something I need to rectify very soon. But it is actually about a couple who are on the brink of getting divorced, and they're going to counselling and things are looking really, really bad for their marriage. They just basically hate each other, and then the zombie apocalypse happens and they suddenly have to depend on each other to survive. And it's basically how they kind of overcome the problems they've had in their marriage during this zombie apocalypse, and it's actually really, really funny. I really, really enjoyed it. I just thought it was, especially the first one. I didn't think the second one was as funny, but it's still pretty good. I haven't read the third one yet, which is Eat, Slay, Love. I haven't got around to reading that one yet, but the first two I really, really enjoyed. I gave a 5 and then a 4-star. And I would just really recommend them because they're just like this couple having like stupid arguments in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, because they still have the problems that they had in their marriage before the zombie apocalypse, and it's them slowly trying to get over these problems while also battling zombies and trying to survive, and it's just really funny, and I would definitely recommend it for just a light-hearted zombie read. Another book I have is a really random one. I got it on a Goodreads giveaway a couple of years ago, and it's The Neptune Project by Polly Hollyoak. And this one's really, really like, it's just really strange, but I actually really enjoyed it. And it's about where the earth is basically not a very great place to live anymore. The air is really bad, the environment is really bad, and then it turns out that there's like this gang of children who've kind of been bioengineered or something by their parents, where they can actually survive underwater and then they can live underwater, and they all have these special bonds with these dolphins, and they're all part of something called the Neptune Project, but they don't realise this until something happens and they're forced to actually go underwater and try and find each other. Their parents tell them to go and to run, and they have to try and find each other underwater and try and figure out what to do next, basically, and they're trying to survive underwater with their dolphins, and they can kind of communicate with their dolphins, and it's just really interesting. It's just one of those really random books. I haven't actually read this in a while. It's been a couple of years, and I think the second book is out at the moment, which I should actually look into getting because I did really enjoy the first one. But yeah, it's definitely one of those kind of random survival ones I would recommend for people to check out, and it's kind of it's only like a middle grade book as well, so it's pretty easy to read as well. Another survival book is one that I literally recommend any chance I get, and it's Ashes by Ailsa J. Bick. I don't have the first one at the moment. I have the second one here, which is called Shadows, but the first one is called Ashes, and this is about a kind of weird kind of apocalypse that happens on Earth. Something kind of, there's like this boom thing that happens throughout the Earth, and basically everyone from their middle 20s to old age up till kind of like retirement age drop down dead. Everyone between the ages of like 13, 14 to their middle 20s, a bunch of these kids end up becoming kind of crazed cannibals, and then all the elderly people are kind of left and the young children, and they have to try and survive in this really weird world that's after happening. And the cannibal people, the cannibal children, teenagers, are kind of, they're becoming cleverer and cleverer as time goes on. They're kind of becoming more, they're even more of a threat than they already were because they're becoming way smarter, while also still needing to eat meat all the time. And they're not zombies because they're not dead. That's the thing, they're not zombies, but they kind of almost act like zombies, but they don't, I don't think they'd kill people. At the start they would kill people like zombies would, but then they get smarter and they kind of hunt people. But it's really, really interesting. I would really recommend it for people to read. I absolutely love this series, and I just try and get everyone to read it basically because I think it's really good. The book I have here is a pretty old book actually, and it is Papillon by Henry Charrier. I actually don't know how to say that name because I'm really bad with French names, so I apologise. This is basically about a guy who keeps breaking out of prison. I can't remember the year it's set in, but it's like pretty old. But it's actually a really interesting book, and I'd really recommend people to read it. I read it a few years ago, but I'd probably up for a reread of it. But it's really interesting. It's basically about this guy who just keeps breaking out of all these prisons and trying to kind of be a free man for something. I think it might be that he's in for something that he didn't do, and he did 9 amazing daring escapes, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. They call him Papillon, which is why it's called Papillon the book. But yeah, I really recommend this. It's a really good read. And then another book here is a very, very short book. It's something I read in my junior cert in school, which is when I was 15 years old. It's for exams, and it is The Key by Theodore Taylor. This is about a young boy who gets stuck on an island after a shipwreck with this old African American man, and it's how they have to try and survive. And then the kid ends up becoming blind, and because of his injuries from, he kind of gets a knock in the head during the shipwreck, and he's actually blind, so he has to try and survive on this island with this man blind. And yeah, it's really, really interesting. It's really, really short. It's only like, it's not even 100 pages, but it's really, really good. It's like, I actually really enjoyed it when I was younger, when I read it in school, and I would recommend it now for a very quick survival story. So that is all my recommendations for survival stories. Please let me know what survival stories you would recommend to me, and leave it down in the comments below. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again next time. Bye!